What's up, guys? We are back with another one. Do appreciate the feedback on the last daily build order video. We did hit 20 likes on that, so today I am going to go over more of a Feudal Rush build based on scouting and the matchup, particularly against the Abbasid. I think we've all been seeing them a ton on the ladder recently, more so than the English, I believe. I haven't checked the stats, but certainly seems like it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, kicking off with the first one. This is a game against the Abbasid on Lipany. Kind of check out our spawn here. So we've got gold way out front. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this first part of the build. Again, that's a lot of what I already covered in the last video. But we're going to have 3 different matchups. 2 against the Abbasid, and then one more, last one against the Malians on Hill and Dale. So just kind of generally what I'm looking for. Initially, of course, we want to scout around, grab as many sheep as we can grab. That's going to help just kind of sustain our push. If we don't get a ton, it's probably not the end of the world, because we're probably going to have map control, at least initially, where we can move out on food if we need to. Especially on Lipany, there's going to be plenty of berries, right? So pretty standard age up. But one thing we want to try to do, ooh, missed one there, is we want to get over to his side of the map at about the time that we're aging up, before we're dropping either our production or blacksmiths, and we want to see what he's aging up with and if he's going to be on stone going for a second TC, right? All right, there's a stone out front. He's there, and he went with the eco wing, where he's going to get cheaper TCs, cheaper farms, all that good stuff, right? So knowing that, so he's already going for the Fertile Crescent. So first building we're going to drop is going to be the blacksmith, because we want to just go ahead and queue up our siege engineering first, so we have that ready to rock. And I'm also going to keep my scholars in the mosque a little longer, rather than loading them into production buildings to get double production. So I don't need units right away. I need that siege engineering first, and that'll allow us to get sanctity a little quicker, so we can move out on the sacred sites too. So we spotted his TC, so TC is going on the gold, not on the stone. So again, another reason I don't really need to get out here, and doesn't look like anyway, to harass and stop at 3rd TC. If he's dropping this here, we know it's probably going 3 TCs, but nothing yet. So another thing I'm going to scout around for is, are we going to see any production buildings? We're going to go stable first with Gazis. Then it's just a matter, are we going to go more Gazis? Are we going to go spearmen? Or are we going to go archers? A lot of times, if we show the Gazis first, they're probably going to react with either horsemen or spearmen, right? But another key to this is, if we don't have to, we don't want to show our hand and show what units we're making or what production we have. We want to make him scout that, right? So where's his scout now? So he's still scouting around as well. So we still got 4 scholars garrison. I haven't queued up 1 Ghazi, but I don't need that produced extra quick, because we don't really need to do anything with it just yet. So it actually looks like he might be gearing up to try to go 2 TC fast castle, right? He does have a stable coming down. We haven't scouted that yet. I think he's going to be in soon. We'll see if we move our scholars out fast enough. But siege engineering coming in now. In retrospect, as I look at this, yeah, good timing. Nope, we're going to go for units first. Could go siege engineering into iron undermesh, and that way, if we have to dive these TCs, we can and not take as much damage. Still haven't scouted his production yet, but as I was saying, we want to try not to show our hand earlier than I have to if he doesn't scout it, right? Faye put this in a way, Faye Chan, shout out to her. And she referenced information is essentially a 5th resource, right? And maybe the most valuable resource. So if you can gather more information than your opponent, that's gonna be more valuable than, you know, if you have more food or more wood or whatever, because that's gonna allocate how you use the rest of your resources accordingly. So if we don't show our hand and we can surprise him, he's not gonna be able to react to this. But if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they'll scout it too, right? But we want to make them earn it. All right, so we are out on the sacred sites at about 7:20, so it's about right. I think we could have been there a little sooner, actually. Siege engineering is in, and we've got units piling over his way. And as we take these, we're going to want to drop a market here soon too, because that's going to really boost our production and the amount of units that we're able to funnel over to his side. I don't think he has scouted this yet. No, another wolf on his team. A little idle scout time, but we do scout the 2 stables there. Now we've got a 1-1-1 going. Again, archers are never bad, especially when we're diving TCs and if he's trying to repair, you know, taking out bills with that too. I did move the first scholar over. We're just going to go try to defend this with a couple Gazis. This scholar really should be over in the fight too. If I'm diving, it's helpful to have them there to help heal our units. But you can see he's making his way up towards castle. And I'm fairly certain that he has not spotted this just yet. Our market is coming down. We've pulled our villas off gold at this point. And so far just the one blacksmith. Again, iron undermesh would be pretty beneficial here, but just really as soon as we have a few units over here, and I had 10 on food for a while. The same kind of build. We go 8 to wood, we drop 1 more to food, and then we keep rallying to wood. So we're going to want extra villas on wood, right? Because we're going to need extra wood to drop these rams. And as the gold starts pouring in from the sacred sites, we can utilize the market as well. So still got all 3 of these. Yep, see the villa coming out here to build the wall. And another thing, when we make this initial push, pretty good job by him putting his production in the back. 1, it makes it harder to see, and 2, it's harder to kill, right? Anything he's putting out here is going to die right away. But when we push in, we definitely don't want to push into the main TC. That's got 7,000 HP. All the secondary TCs have 2,500, and they can only garrison 8, where the main TC can garrison 15, right? They are Abbasid. They only have 2 landmarks. It's a little easier to landmark snipe, even though this one has a lot of HP as well. We want to move in and just try to cut the legs out from under them. So on these secondary TCs, 2 rams will generally do a pretty good job. 3 probably a little more effective, but then you're just kind of up against timing too. What do we have? Just 3 spears in here. Just a few spears versus horsemen is going to change the fight a lot. Right, so we're already in there. There go the vills, so we're going to move the archers over to try to start sniping some of those. Another thing, we don't want to dive too far into the TC if we don't have to. Kind of sit back, let the rams do the work, clean up the units. Again, they've already poured resources into this second town center. They do get them cheaper with Fertile Crescent, right? But they got resources there. They have to drop twice as much production to get equal unit production to us, right? Because we can garrison the scholar, so we should almost always have a numbers advantage. That's bad. Almost always have a numbers advantage if we move early enough where they can't leverage their eco, right? So we've already got 5 build kills, but he's still up 9 bills. But it's all about timing. We don't want to give him enough time for those cheaper bills and extra bills to pay off. If we give them enough time to scale, then he's just going to boom right past us and be able to outproduce. But again, we are using the market, so we're going to be propping up. We've got that extra gold here. You can see right now we need to funnel that into food and just keep producing units. They don't really have much in production right now. Let's speed this up a little bit again. Alright, so the TC's down. Everything's around the back. Like I said, it's going to make it a little harder for us because we're going to have to maneuver around the back. But we're spending the gold. We got food. We're going to drop 4 more rams, so we're going to have 5. And then with this unit advantage, it's going to be really, really hard for him to try to keep up. Now, really ambitious by him. He is going to try to go castle also with the limited production. He's already moving into farms. Right, so he just wasted all that wood. Although he is on the backside, on the stone. He's moving on to the sheep, or on the deer on the back, but we've seen that. Again, we could dive right to the TC, which unfortunately I did with my spearman. That was a mistake. But again, we just want to cut up the legs out from under him. If he doesn't have production, he's not going to be able to defend. It doesn't matter if he still has landmarks or not, if he doesn't have anything to protect them. I did lose most of the spearmen, so that was good. But we still got 5 rams. And, he has really nothing left. He's got a lot of wood. He's almost a castle. He's see, 13 minutes in, and he's just in really, really bad shape. He's got a bill fight on the Gazis. Alright, he's Castle. He's going to have a couple Camel Riders popping out. We're still just on the 1 TC. We're going, yeah, nowhere near Castle. So if this fails, potentially we could be in pretty bad shape. So we got to make sure we end the game here. But we're still just rallying units across the map. Just non-stop, full go. You see that TC's almost down, and we still got enough units to deal with this, right? Like I said, if he stops it, it's bad news. But if we're pushing in the main TC, then definitely want to have 3, 4, 5 ramps coming down. And that's about to go down. He has no other military production. He's just fighting for his life at this point. He's going to have to call it. Right, so just leverage those sacred sites. It's going to be a lot of extra gold coming in. You can just abuse the market as needed. And just make sure we can keep units pumping, keep ramps going, and just don't give them any time to breathe and get off the ground. So that was the first one. We'll take a look at the next one here too. All right, we've got game number 2, again against the Abbasid against Shaggy, currently Diamond 3. And this one's going to be a little different than the last game. A little, but much the same. So, same sort of deal. We want to scout, pick up sheep, we want to find his base, right? Just kind of run our route and try to get back to his base at about the time that we're aging up and see what we're going to open with. Again, just standard opening from our side. So he's got gold and berries out front. And his stone is kind of tucked in the back. He's got not a terrible spawn, really. He's got deer and berries also in the back. Pretty good spawn for both of us, really. Slow this down. So our scout is here. We want to see. All right, so we've already scouted that he's opening up with the Eco Wing. All right, we see he's on stone as well. All right, so we spot that. So we're going to start with the blacksmith. All right, so that's already going up. We see the villas go south. We're putting the TC tucked behind the main TC on the wood line. So that's going to be a tough spot to pressure. It's going to be really tough to kill that, really. But, like I said, we have scouted around. We see all the resources outside of that. Other than this back wood line, I mean, his front wood line's really exposed, so he's going to have a hard time getting to any of the rest of that. Again, siege engineering first. Something I'll need to try going forward. Siege engineering, if I'm going to go with one blacksmith, that's we get aggressive. Siege engineering with iron undermesh. Right, so we got the Gazis first. Yep, Barry's out front, so we're just going to go try to harass either one of these. He doesn't have any towers. He's actually going to go with an archery range first. A little bit of idle time on my scout. That's unfortunate. Gotten a big part of the info that I needed. And then now we see the archery range as well. So, showed the Gazis, preemptively went with a barracks. Did make a spearman. I'm going to stop that now that I've seen just the archery range. An interesting approach from him. He's going to go with a second archery range, which we have spotted. So one thing that's on my mind at this point, if he gets a huge mass of archers, that can be pretty scary regardless, right? Still cute into his base. Whoops. So I lose that spearman. Not the end of the world. Kind of pointless right now anyway. Other than they can help me make rams, which siege engineering is in. Again, if we look at resource allocation, like I said, we're going extra heavy on wood. Once we get to the 10 on food, we rallied mostly over to wood. I did drop an 11th one there as well. Yep, moving out to sacred sites. And don't want to push into this TC, but I don't want to let him mass these archers up too much either. So right now I'm just kind of picking around and deciding where do I want to try to do damage. Now if I look at this base, what has he left open for me? It's the production up front, right? In that last match he had the production in the back, which was hard to punish, but he had the TC out front, so we took that. Now this time he's got gold, berries and 2 archer ranges out front. So we're gonna work with what we can. Sacred sites are in, and then, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and move the scholars over into the fight. I don't think he can see. Okay, he does spot it with the scout, so he's gonna move out with the archers now. It's he's kind of hitting the oh shit button here too. Pretty bad by me losing those. That's gonna slow down his ramps quite a bit. Still just no reaction. Whoops. Now that he knows this is coming, he has to try to do something, right? Fortunately, with the rams, these archers aren't going to be able to do much. He's just rallying heavy into the back. I don't really care if I lose these. I mean, I don't want to lose them, right? But as long as I have the rams up, that's all I need. Again, scholars here that can help heal up. Let's take a look back at our base. So since he's going heavy with the archers, we went ahead and dropped a couple more stables. And we won't need as much wood if we're not mass producing archers, right? So we're on 15 on wood. Again, we are off gold. We got to mark it down so we can kind of balance that eco. Just fill any holes where we need to. Alright, so we're going to start working down the archer ranges. Now, he does recognize this mistake, right? Having these out front, so he's going to start dropping his production in the back. Right now, he's floating a lot of wood, but he's going to need it for either A, he's probably going to have to go farms, or, yeah, here he goes. He's going to drop more production in the back. We're just massing Ghazi at this point. We haven't seen anything else to make us do otherwise. If he's going to match archers, we're just going to go for it. Yeah, we're going to lose some of those, but we got production to keep those pumping, and we don't want to let the archers get out of hand. We did have enough to go ahead and drop our second blacksmith too, so we are getting iron undermesh here. You can see we sold off some of the gold. Yeah, probably a little bit of both food and wood that we're mixing in there. So pretty big hit already, making him spend all that wood just to be able to keep up production. Not sure why he's insistent on only archers, but I like to keep that scholar alive. Oh, that hurts. Okay, so we're getting a couple of build picks. Now we're just going to try to rotate. Maybe could have left some units up here. I don't want to split though, because he's going to be able to kind of pick those off. But we're going to rotate down to the bottom and just start going to work on these now that they're exposed. Another thing we're going to catch here too. So he's locked in his base, right? He's kind of circled around. And he's on the berries and the gold down at the bottom, which is where we're going. Alright, so we do catch that. Take out all the bills there. It's still in the gold. We didn't catch that yet. But we kind of picked up on it, so we're going to grab those too. So even though he had a huge build advantage, probably a huge eco advantage, we're just not letting him get breathing room to really let that go into effect. Alright, so we got 3 more rams coming down behind this one. Yep, we've got iron undermesh now, so we can dive that a little easier. Just lots of damage here to him. He's floating a ton of gold. It looks like he's trying to get the castle as well. And maybe if he does, that game gets a little more interesting, but he's going to go ahead and tap out there. He's going to lose all these and just kind of have to start fresh again. And we've still just got army massing behind. Sacred Site timers are ticking down there too. I'm not quite sure where that was, but yeah, a couple examples against the Abbasid so far. And we'll jump into one more against the Malians here. So currently Conquer. Let's jump into it. All right, this one's on Hill and Dale. Our opponent, he has played a lot of games. Don't recall what rank he was when we played, but after we played, he went on a huge run. He was actually at the Conk 2, but now he's currently his Conqueror 1, as you saw. Now, by default, against the Malians, I usually take a different approach. Probably more similar to the initial build video that I posted, where I want to get units on the Malians ASAP, because they can be pretty slow to get off the ground as well. They don't really have any military production bonuses. But they have good units. Right? For making archers, they can go javelins. For the Gazis, they can make the Donzos that are a little better. Alright, pretty good job with sheep. Okay, yeah, pretty even on sheep so far. Now he's scouting where I've already been. Not exactly sure where he went. Probably not much left to get. I think we both got about the same. Again, pretty standard opening for us. Gonna go with the stable first. Sometimes against Malian, I'll go stable into archer range before I even drop the blacksmith. Pretty unfortunate there. I was not expecting the Saharan Trade Network. So we're down a scout. I have no idea what he's doing at this point. So we're gonna need to get a Ghazi over there and scout around for us. If we go back home, got the stable, got the blacksmith, and then we've got enough. I kind of want to see if I can what he's doing before I make my next decision, but can't always do that. I showed the Gazis at this point, so it's a pretty good chance that he's gonna go with the barracks or with a stable, right? Because they're gonna get warrior scouts, they can get Sofa. He's actually going for a second TC, which is I was not expecting at all, and I have not seen that yet. I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen if he has any production. What I should have done, I could have used these sheep to scout around. That would have been kind of cheeky. Lose a Ghazi there for cheap. That's not great. So he's going to go with the stable. I have not scouted that yet. So no scouts on the map. Sanctity is just about to come in, so we are moving out to the sacred sites. We do have eyes on all those and all 5 relics. And then, yep, got our stable, got our archer range. I have not produced any archers just yet, just because I don't really know what he's doing. Right, so once we got the 15 on wood, now we're starting to rally over to food a bit. We do have the sacred sites, or we're going to have the sacred sites. Now against Malians, I'm not in a huge hurry to get to castle. I don't get a whole lot that's going to benefit me a ton. Do we have the? No, we don't have +1 yet. But now we've spotted the second TC, so that's gonna change our plan a little bit. Do have the second blacksmith down already, so we can go ahead and start working on the siege engineering. And he's gonna try to contest sacred sites. He's got warrior scouts now. Not too worried about that. We've got Gazis on the map. All right, siege engineering on the way in. And once we can, I'm going to queue up some more scholars too, just try to get this coming a little quicker. But once we take these, again, we're going to move scholars to the fight, and I'm rallying everything to the left of his base. Again, trying to conceal this as much as I can. I don't want him to know that we're here, right? Now that we need more, we're going to need more wood for rams too, so we're rallying back to wood again. But pretty good job by him. He is largely outnumbered, right? But he's trying to pick off some of the reinforcements coming through. Fortunately for him, there's a lot here already. He's, I'm sure, kind of hitting the oh shit button at this point as well. Trying to wall up a little bit. He's floating a ton of wood, which now he's starting to put into use with production. Not sure if maybe he was considering a third TC or what exactly he had going on there, but although he knows we're over here, he hasn't spotted this just yet. Let's slow it down just a little bit. So right now we still got the 1-on-1. I did drop a barracks just to deal with the sofas a little better. They're not knights, but they are heavy armored. They will trade pretty well against the Gazis, even though I've got enough numbers here that we can deal with it pretty well. You can see even archers will do okay with numbers. See, they're 155 HP, and then we got 16 attack, 2 armor. We're 135. We've got 14 attacks. We got the +2 for 70. These are heavy. All right, there's his Donzo, but just not enough. He's really struggling for food right now. He's spending gold on cows. He's got the deer in the back. I think he's just scrambling a little bit, trying to react to this. Just take a quick look back at our base. Yeah, we are on 20 on wood right now, again, just so we can keep producing rams, and then plenty of food to keep pumping the units that we have, as well as if needed, we've got the market that we can buy food, buy wood as needed. Yeah, at this point, we've got 40 units. He's got 8. Moving into that second TC with 3 rams. It's going to go down really, really quickly. And he's just hurting pretty bad for food at that point. He's not going to be able to produce units. He's just going to call it. So I think that one is just a good example of having to change the game plan from what I initially was going to go into. Just, again, based on what I had scouted, even without a scout, right? But I ran into that second TC with the Gazi. If I don't see that, maybe the game changes a little, or maybe not, because I might have a lot of units anyway. But yeah, in some of those scenarios where it's, I'm going to change the build a little bit, go heavier into wood. A big advantage with Delhi and why they get such a boost with that is you don't have to pay for the siege engineering, right? So you can get that right away, and you can produce units a little faster. So for a lot of matchups, it's gonna be really, really tough to defend, and a lot of games you can end just early, right? It's very tough to defend. It's much harder to defend than it is to attack. Some of the civs where that's gonna struggle a little bit is English, of course. So they've got a lot of defensive bonuses, or any of them that get a defensive landmark, like Chinese with the Barbican, Rus with the Kremlin. I mean, even there with this Sahara Trade Network, if he drops that TC over on the other side instead of on the top side by itself, if he drops that down by his tower, maybe that's a different game too. And I don't know if I can even try to push into that. But maybe like the Abbasid game, we just kind of rotate around and take out production. But yeah, that's what I've been using to try to jump out front of the civs to go for a little more of a greedy approach. Hope you got something out of that. If you did, feel free to drop a rating, leave a follow on the channel, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.